first of a 5-part series. You may think that this is 4, but if you hang in to the end, you're going to find out that we have a bonus that we've added to this series. It's the marketing in the digital world. This is part 1. And today we're going to be hearing from Jack Morris. Jack is a career marketing advertising professional with over 35 years of experience in brand management, retail food, full service, ad agency, and hospitality industries. Apparently, he had trouble keeping a job. He was also a college instructor with responsibilities in both the communication and business hospitality colleges at Georgia State University, though he didn't pick up a Southern accent there. His expertise is in all facets of new product development as applies to various business and academic categories and situations. Jack is a consummate professional, and I think you'll enjoy listening to him. Jack, could you click your mouse?
Okay. Now we're going to teach Jack how to use something besides his down button. How do I advance the slides? So
just click your mouse or hit the down button. Either would work.
Click my mouse. So, oh, look at
there
this.
You go. So before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about SCORE. SCORE is a nationwide nonprofit organization that is part of the small business, that is sponsored by the Small Business Administration. And we provide free confidential business mentoring in person and online. A lot is being done via Zoom these days, but we look forward to being in person again soon. We also offer tremendous education workshops like this one, as well as additional items on our website. Since 1984, when SCORE was founded, we've assisted over 10 million clients and small businesses. Click, Jack, thank you. We help in all phases of the business, not just the startup or the pre-startup. We are there to help you identify whether this is even a good idea to go forward, or if you've decided to start up, we'll help you with your financing or your professional services that you need. Or if you need to grow your business, right, we're right there to assist you with that. Or lastly, if you're thinking about buying or selling or closing your business, we have a dedicated group that can help you do that as well. This is our website, manasota.score.org. Click again, Jack. On our website, you can request a mentor. There are a couple of places to do that. Click. You can find a workshop or webinar. Maybe that's where you found this one. You can see that we have them going all the time. Locate podcasts that are pre-recorded, or lastly, look through our library of resources and you'll see the hundreds of documents and videos and templates that are there to help you. Just do a little search on that and you'll be rewarded. Lastly, I'd like to thank our community partners. These are the people that keep the lights on and help us pay our bills. If you have an opportunity to support them, please do so. You'll see that we have a number of banks that are working with us, and we can help you if you are a mentor to work with them. So without further ado, I am going to turn this over to Jack Morris. Take it away, Jack.
Feels like I'm at the Ringling Brothers. Hi, guys. Thank you. On behalf of Jeremy and I, we thank you for beginning to attend this 4-part program. Jeremy Petty and I have been partners in this particular program for a number of times and are somewhat familiar with the content, at least to know that it works and that it's, if you'll allow me, it's a pretty smart thing. We're going to take you through a 4-part session where we're going to help you develop sound marketing communications, and with Jeremy's help, how to apply them to the internet and social media so that your business can grow or develop as quickly as you want it to, because you've got all the right stuff going in your camp to make it happen, because communications is essential for that. Before I get into this too long, I know that some of you may not be actively involved or even involved with SCORE. Some of you are. If you're not, Jeremy and I and Diane work from this grid day in, day out. It is called the Business Model Canvas. don't get too hung up on all the squares. There's 9 phases of this business model canvas. For the next 4 weeks, you're going to be involved in 1 through 4. 1 specifically will be your introduction to the entire BMC process, and that's what's going to go on today. I just wanted you to know that this is a very multi-phased process we're going into, but it critically starts at this value proposition, and it starts with developing your marketing communications and properly and effectively applying them. So as I said, we're now going to be spending the next couple of minutes, I think somewhere around 40, to deal with this very first part of the value proposition in the business model canvas. Let me explain what the value proposition is very briefly. I promise you it'll be, I only have 40 minutes, so I can't linger on all this stuff. We got to move through this thing. The value proposition is all about who you are, how you describe yourself, and so that you can develop the effective and efficient marketing communications based on the facts that surround who you are as relating to your either existing business or conceptual business. I've got somewhere around 18 slides. They are all numbered. And the reason I'm sharing with you that information is I go through this thing and I've got a time that I've got to meet. So I've got to pass this along to Diane and Jeremy when it's appropriate. But for you, maybe there's a slide that you didn't fully understand or would like to have more information about. I've got 2 things to say to you. One is there's a Q&A session that is built into this presentation for you to plug in, write down whatever comments or questions. Diane will be the content comment keeper, and she'll be the one helping me understand how to manage myself through the Q&A. But here's the key thing. If for whatever reasons this 40 minutes does not quite satisfy you, you've forgotten things, you weren't clear on things, the Q&A didn't meet it, you can, as a registered person on this series, always be able to come back an unlimited number of times, I believe, and retake a look at the information contained in all of our presentations, and make notes to yourself and do all those good things to make sure you're getting out of this the maximum content value. Marketing communications. Here we go. We're getting into the pool now of week 1. This is a basic communication model diagram, and it has to do with communication, which involves usually 2 people, a sender of a communication and a receiver. Who's the sender? You are. The people listening to this presentation and your new company, you are the sender of your business communications. The receiver will be somebody we will be dealing with later, maybe in a couple of weeks when we talk about the target audience or the prospective customers. They are the ones you want to talk to, so that you can develop a business communication that results in revenue and all those good things. So what Jeremy and I are going to be doing for these 4 sessions is we're going to be taking you back and forth through this model, but specifically we're going to be dealing with the 2 things in the middle, the message and the medium. I'm the message guy. I'm going to help you create the message that is going to, or at least help you with understanding how you can create the most effective and efficient message to promote your business. Jeremy's going to tell you how to take all that newfound wisdom and apply it to the internet and social media. I think you're seeing, maybe I did this in a previous slide. I want to explain 2 key comments you might want to actually write down, because as business people, they are essential to your success. And that is the difference between effective and efficient. I'm a big bug on this thing, so bear with me. Effective communications deliver a message to the receiver so that they understand what it is you want to say. Efficiency is applying the minimum amount of resources, time, money, employees, the minimum number of resources utilized for that message to be effectively delivered to the receiver. So effectiveness and efficiency are all about what Jeremy and I are going to be talking about. The feedback at the bottom of this diagram talks about if you don't know your target audience unless they are standing there in front of you, so you've got to develop some capability of getting feedback. from your target audience as to what they understand you've been saying to them and how they like or dislike or don't know if they like or dislike. But that's what feedback and research is all about. And we will both be dedicated to helping you understand without this feedback issue, you do not have a sender-receiver dynamic that's going to help your business. You've got to know if you're making sense to people and if you're impressing them. Here we go. Okay. So how are we going to develop really powerful, effective marketing communications? We're in the value proposition stage of this business model canvas. It's like, who are you, and what can you say in your communications that will impress and influence a receiver, a customer, to doing something about it and making contact with you, perhaps even, hold your breath, buy something from you. So this is the beginning of that. You may or may not understand what a SWOT analysis is, but it's a very fundamental business tool to helping people take a photograph of who they are at a given period of time. And who they are is defined as one of these four initials. Strengths. What are your strengths? Those are absolute strengths and relative strengths. Weaknesses. This is absolute and relative to the competition, maybe, or exactly, maybe if it was internal, it's I don't have enough employees to be able to deliver the goods. Weaknesses. So you've got strengths, weaknesses. Opportunities are an external factor in SWOT analysis about what's out there that could be helping me. Lower taxation, more employment. People are looking for employment. Threats are the opposite of that. What are things? Political laws being passed. What are threats to my business's success? So you see the SWOT analysis. Don't get too upset about all of this. It might seem complex and everything, but all we're talking about is the blue box today. We may talk about the red box a little bit, but we're going to be into wanting your ability to identify all the words that go into explaining your company's strengths as you understand it. Now, there's a caveat to that. You can bring in some friends and trusted associates for developing this list of strengths, and you should feel extremely comfortable and soliciting people for their input into filling out the strengths. Remember, from this slide, take away the blue box and say, this is what we're going to focus on to develop our communications. We're going to focus on communicating our strengths. What I want you to be, what I would like you to be thinking about is have an imaginary wheelbarrow. And in that wheelbarrow, you're going to be throwing slips of paper into it. And on those slips of paper are all the words and phrases that you feel comfortable are reflective of your company's strengths. There is no problem with quantity at this step. In fact, I can personally say I've had clients, I've actually had 4 people who were partners in a company, and they generated, I'm going to make it up, but I would say in excess of 50 phrases or words that they collectively felt represented their company's strengths. Outstanding. The more, the merrier. I've also had clients that thought real hard about the strengths and came up with 8, and I sent them back. I need more. That's not enough. So do not be cautious at this point in time. There's plenty of time for the caution later on down the road. Right now, we need that wheelbarrow full of words, and those words have to be strength words. So you got a wheelbarrow full of words. Good. Now here's a way for you to organize them so that you can manage this communication development process. And that's what it is. It's a 3-step process to making your life simpler than it would be if you were just trying to grab something out of the wheelbarrow. You will categorize your S words and phrases, and that's up to you as to what kind of categories. I'll give you some hints on the next slide. You're then going to take those words that are now categorized, and you're going to begin the process of translating those words into the words your prospective customer understands. That's what the translation is all about. The last thing is for you to do is put some sort of priority on these categorical words that have now been translated and everything. You're going to try to look at all of that and say, these particular things that have gone through the process of categorization, translation, and prioritization, there may be, I'm saying this, you started with, what did I say, 50? You start with 50, maybe there's 8 things that have in your mind qualified as being, these are really core or critically important words for me to communicate what my business is all about. That's what the prioritization is all about. You're going to ask yourself this question, and it would be very logical. Why am I doing this? Well, you're going to be doing this because you're going to take that wheelbarrow and construct some sentences and some paragraphs, maybe even a slogan, maybe even some sort of catchword or strong word. You're going to try to boil down that wheelbarrow into clear and concise expressions. And that is so important. Clear as in understandable, concise is simple and quick to understand. Clear and concise is the goal to this whole thing. What is clear and concise? Something I'm going to be telling you in the next couple of slides. It's going to be that essential communication that you're going to work very hard through this process to develop. And that is something called in marketing and at SCORE, the unique selling proposition, otherwise known as USP. The unique selling proposition is a critically important way for you to say clearly and concisely who you are, why you're different, and why the target audience should pay more attention to hearing more of your story. The unique proposition does not say everything, but it does say enough, and enough for the conversation to begin between you and your prospective customers. So we're doing all of this to try to boil stuff down, and through some sort of process, we're going to come up with really interesting, important, and powerful and effective, expressions that talk about who you are. I thought I told you that there's a way to do this, and I'm going to give you 2 possible ways. I mean, it's like a menu here. You've got, when we talk about categorizing, we could be talking about categorizing in one of 2 ways. Either one of the simple ways is who we are, what we do, and why we're different. The words that you put into that wheelbarrow can be categorized in these 3 ways. Who we are, what business are we in? Are we internet only? Or are we a physical box that we want to have on a street somewhere? So you need to put those S words into these 3 categories. And by the way, S words can belong in more than one category. As you may find, you may have a problem figuring out where to put that particular word. Put them in every one of the categories. We'll work it out later, but get them categorized. And so it's who we are, what we do, and importantly, why do you think we're different? There should be something you can say about your company and your dream and desire to have this company, this organization. You must be thinking about bringing something new to the party, so to speak, to develop something that is differentiated and maybe in a way that is competitively superior. Hey, the better and stronger you can make your differentiation, the better your customers are going to pay attention and maybe become your customers. So who we are, what we do, and why we're different is one way to do this categorization. The other one is the more traditional way, and that's following some very traditional marketing methodology, and that's breaking down the business into its marketing categories. Somewhat, some people might say, are the marketing P's, because isn't it interesting that all the words begin with the letter P? So you have, what is your company's product or service? Do you have an S word that applies just to that? Does your S word apply to the price that you're charging for the products or service you're offering? Do you have a place? Place is a physical thing, but it's also the internet. That's a place. So if you're going to be retail street primarily, but might do internet secondarily, place becomes a very important part of how important is your place to your company's success. obviously, Jeremy and Diane and I are seeing clients that are very much tuned in to being very active on the internet, both not only for communication but for revenue generation. But that's cool too. I mean, if it's just the internet, that's not a negative. That's a strength, because you're being clear about the place is going to keep you, especially when you get to Jeremy. If you're going to be on the internet doing your thing, Jeremy is going to help you do that pretty well. So the last one is the promotion. Are you able to say things? Do you have a promotional angle? Honestly, I don't personally put much at this point. That might be a little premature to develop the construction of your promotional communications. But so how would you talk about yourself? You can still throw S words into there with no problem whatsoever. You're wondering out loud or quietly, what's going on here with the green colored, things? Well, as with prioritization, I put different priorities on these three subcategories. The ones in the green are going to be the USP differentiating words, your strengths, that are probably going to show up more in these two areas than are the others, but not necessarily the only place where the USP is going to be found. Price may be a very important thing, and that may be very easily put into your USP. But for starting right now, make sure you have those why we're different on the upper method and product service descriptions, or S words, on the lower one. That's where you should be focusing a lot of your attention to make sure you got enough there. That was categorization. Aren't you relieved we're done with that? Okay, now we're moving into translation. I'm going to try to say this in the time allowed. This is where it gets a little tricky, translating, but let me tell you what it is we're going to do. And I've got some examples on the next slide to tell you what I'm talking about. But when I talk to a client about their business and the strength words and everything, oftentimes, see the bold in the middle of the slide, oftentimes that client will very excitedly and very proudly give me the company's products and services as defined as features. What are the features about my product and services? What are the specs? How thick is the wiring to an electrical device? The specs that you made a lot of effort and energy to figuring out how to put into your product and service, and the attributes. These are all descriptions that you would say to someone who's in the exact same business you are, but they're not your customer. They might be a competitor. So I need you to, when you're finished with those S words and you've got them categorized, you need to examine those words as to, are you talking about features, specifications, and attributes? And you probably are. There's no big deal to that, because that's how you've lived with the company that you're trying to develop. You are building those things into your company's essence, okay? This is marketing, however. The language has to change, because the people you're talking to are called customers, or at least right now they're called prospective customers. And they may nod politely about, feature, specification, attributes. But what they want to know, look at the bottom of the slide. What difference does all of this make to me? What is it about what you're offering? How is that making my life better? How is it making it simpler? How do I save money? How do I do this? How do I do that? They're always thinking about what they're going to get from doing business with you. So while you're very proud to talk about these features, specs, and attributes, you need to have your marketing communications focused on benefits and solutions to problems they're having that you know about, or just where they are, the benefits of doing this versus what they're currently doing elsewhere with a competitor, or hopefully we will call them an ex-competitor, because you've now got their customer. So that's what the translation thing is all about. I know there's some people here who aren't with SCORE, and that's okay, no problem here. But at this point, I'm going to throw in a little editorial comment, and that's to say The translation will work more efficiently and you do spend less time translating if you had someone who had at least a handle on marketing and advertising. Those people are built. They were designed to be able to translate stuff. So if you find it difficult to translate some of those words, remember the wiring analogy, the comment I said, oh, we use thicker wiring, it's more efficient to use. If you figure out that that's going to reduce repairs, or it's going to bring up the service quicker because thicker wiring is quicker. I just made that up. I have no idea if thicker wiring does that, but you know what I'm getting at. We're trying to figure out how to translate thicker wiring into something that becomes a consumer benefit or a solution to a problem, because the customer's always thinking in their head, what's in it for me? I hope that works, because that's an important thing. So here we are. You've just developed a company and you're going to sell state-of-the-art solar panels. That's pretty current. A lot of people are claiming that they're doing that. And you may want to spend a lot of time why your solar panels are state-of-the-art, and that will be mildly interesting. But what the customer wants to know is cut through it and tell me, are your solar panels going to lower my utility costs? And will they last long enough for me to not have to spend a lot of money repairing and maintaining them? Money, 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 money. Okay, so the benefits are, I've got solar panels. You better make that, translate that into a what's in it for me money story. Now you've got, this is a family thing. My son told me about this. Everybody looks for a place to live. But now all of a sudden there are planners out there and people who are constructing places to live that also offer all the other benefits of being together. So it's maybe there's an office space, a common office space that is also in the building where you are living. You can go down there and make use of all their internet facilities, and maybe they've got the printers down there and all that stuff. Oh, and guess what? There's also someone who is responsible for the social activities that go on within that building. Remember, we're talking about a modern place to live and or work. What I'm telling you is there are companies, one of which is called Selena, and they've got this all-inclusive package of you live here, you work here, you socialize here. Now, some of you may find that to be, I want to do more than that. I want to find friends out there. Well, no, that's not the point. The point is you can find a comfortable environment from which you not only live, but also work, and also might develop, who knows, you might develop a couple of friends or at least people you are friendly with. And doesn't that make life a little bit better especially in these days with COVID, et cetera, so you're going to promote a modern place to live or work. I'm telling you, you need to break it down. If you've got a product that can develop both live, work, and play, socializing, then that's a translation of what you've said over there in the blue. Those are products. Solar panels and places to work. Now we got services, experienced tax prepper. I've got a client who's a tax prepper, a financial consultant, and she's experienced. There's no question about that. And she's also got her degrees and her certifications, and that's all essential. That's all eventually important, but not for the initial marketing communications. You got to hit that communication hard, and you got to hit it fast. And what do you do to get people to stop and think about what it is you're saying? That text preparation financial advisor, I can save you money. I can make you richer. How's that for a proposition? That wasn't said. She didn't say that. No, I prepare tax. I'm real smart. I know all the tax laws. And oh, by the way, my financial planning, I'm constantly up. Fine. Tell me about that later. Get me interested in you. What's in it for me when it comes to tax preparation? You're going to save me money. You're going to make me richer. Some way or another, I'm expecting you to do that. Now you're going to down the road tell me all the other stuff, but right now you're going to stop me with this promise. Are you getting kind of translation? Understood? You've developed, good for you. You developed a mobile pet care. Nobody wants to take Fido to a vet anymore or to some salon. That means traveling outside the house. And blah, 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 quack, 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 and you've got a mobile pet care. I don't want to hear that. I mean, I get it. I need more. I need to know that what's in your mobile is salon quality. My pet, when it leaves my house and goes into your van, is going to be treated as if they were in a salon, and they're going to have all the nice things to keep them calm and comfortable while you're doing your salon, your pet care thing. Certified pet care. I'm credible. I've got certification. I'm certified to handle your pet. I know you love them. I will learn to do that. And I'll also learn to take good care of them over the long term. And low cost supplies. I've got access to things that keep, shampoos to wash them, and maybe even food, maybe even some sort of other things, a blanket or something. You might have accessories and supplies. You want to let them know that, yes, you've got mobile pet care, but it's more than mobile pet care. It's a pet care salon or that kind of thing on wheels. You got to tell them that. You got to tell them the pet's going to be extremely well cared for. It doesn't matter if they're mobile. They've got to be more than mobile. So you got to translate that stuff. Prioritize your here we're in the last step of the process. You've done the categorization. You picked which methods you want to use. You've done your processing, categorization, found somebody to help you translate effectively so your words are more powerful and meaningful to the target audience. And then something you're going to, without spoiler alert, you'll have to rely on you and others' judgment for the time being. You're going to have to start figuring out some way to get some sort of feedback. Maybe you already have a business. Maybe you already have customers. How well do they like you? What do they wish you would do better? Are you already making contact with the people that are doing business with you? If you're an existing business, are you already making contact with them sufficient where they'll begin to tell you about how they viewed the experience? Are they a repeat customer? Why? Are they not a repeat customer? Why? You've got to start at this point, start thinking about this complete communication package. As the diagram said, you need that feedback to tell you how you're doing with your S words. Are they generating the desired result? Is that USP creating interest? Is it creating a conversation? Is that conversation turning into money? Oh, that was interesting. I wasn't prepared for that little pop-up. So here's a very pretty way to remember the unique selling proposition. Again, your marketing communications have got to start with this as its lead-in comment. You ever bumped into somebody or met somebody for the first time? You're doing an interview or something. This is what you say up front in any new communication, whether you're interviewing for a job, you're requesting a date with somebody, you're wanting to tell them something important up front to keep them engaged with you in this conversation. So I'm coming back to this unique proposition because this is the goal to this whole first session with you this week is getting that unique selling proposition. Jeremy knows exactly what to do with that, and we'll give you a preview at the end of my presentation to how he's going to go about taking you into using that unique selling proposition effectively and efficiently. We've already gone through that slide. We emphasized the why we're different in the product service section. Don't take me as a hard fast. This isn't hard and fast. You don't need 2 to 3. You need a clear and concise, something that you really feel inside. You're the best judge of this stuff, not anybody you're dealing with. You're the one that's got to own the outcome of all this communication development. You got to figure out those 2 or 3, 4 priorities that you're going to work with and mold and construct and expand, modify, do all the things to them so they come out as something coherent, the clear and concise marketing communications. I had teased you with the idea in that SWOT analysis, we might actually look at the threat analysis. It can't hurt you one bit if you know your company and its product and or services, then you sort of know who the competition is. The competition down the street, the competition on the internet. You kind of know who you're going to be competing with for the heart and soul of your customers. So this word game and everything, and I call it a word game because that's what we're really doing with this, is we're managing and manipulating words. I don't mean to say it's frivolous, but the point is, your knowledge of the competition will help you maybe in your USP development if you can say the things they can't, or say things that are stronger than the competition is saying. There's something you're doing that's different and better than what the competition is doing. That becomes a finalist on your USP communication development. When I told you that it's an art and a science, I kind of mean that seriously. Marketing is kind of an art and science. You have basic core principles, that's the science. These are things that work. And the art is, how do you feel? And, is this making you excited about how you're communicating your company? When you say the USP, do you have a facial expression? If you sincerely believe it's your USP, you ought to look pretty happy about how you feel and how you look, when you say it. So you're going to determine what works best for you. I've had clients change things that I've suggested to them as a USP. They changed it to make it better for them. And that's what it's all about. Who knows better how to communicate than you? Because if you own the communications and believe that they are the best you can come up with at the time, then you're going to feel a whole lot better spreading the word about your communications. Yeah, I made a plug about marketing people who might be able to help you. Hey, down at the bottom is the real plug. If you are not currently involved with SCORE, I cannot emphasize to you strongly enough, the resources you need to help you with your new business or conceptual business are contained in the Manasota chapter of SCORE. The people that are there, I think there's about 100 of us, all from various backgrounds. They are going to be of some help to you. So seriously consider joining SCORE if you have not already. My goodness, this is telling me I'm winding down. I know this slide. It's my wind it down, Jack. This may be a little ahead. This is kind of like a little extra, okay? There's a thing in marketing communications called attention, interest, desire, and action. This is what your customers do as they move through meeting you for the first time. That's attention. And buying what you're selling, that's action. Now, why is this important? Well, it's important in the way you might develop your website. It's important in the way you might develop your written or promotional materials. If you are talking to someone at a party, you're networking with somebody and they say, well, what are you doing? And you want to talk about your new company. Be aware of the fact that there is a process that you need to respect that takes the listener, the receiver, the prospective customer. They go through that whether you want them to or not. They're processing, they're selecting, they're filtering, and that's what you need to do. Your USP sits right here, getting their attention, and then all those other S words are going to help them better understand, wow, you're a formidable opportunity for me to answer my solutions, my benefits, the solutions I'm seeking. I know I want to do business with you. Oh, and remember the 4 P's marketing, there's promotion. Oh, and here's an incentive for me to act. Here's a website, on your website, you've got a response mechanism, and you're going to offer them a free something or other if they react, to whatever you're telling them. And you're walking them right through this process of AIDA to get them from being a stranger to a customer. And this is how it works. So AIDA is a very important part of how you construct your website and how you generally construct the flow of all those initial marketing communications. Well, lo and behold.
You made it, Jack.
Looky. Okay, and it's 12:41. That's why I make the big bucks here. Okay.
Exactly.
All right, Diane, what have we heard?
Well, Jack, we do have a couple of questions, but I think I want to bring in Jeremy for a few minutes and have him give a sneak preview, and then we'll do our Q&A, if that's all right with you.
Am I still in control of the slides, Diane?
You are still in control. Yes,
so we're
you are.
going now to Jeremy.
Okay, so before Jeremy gets started, I just want to tell you a little bit about him. He's an amazing young man. Of course, to Jack and I, everybody is young, but he is a digital marketing expert with over 10 years of experience, and his expertise really is in website design and search engine optimization, search engine marketing, paid advertising campaigns, email marketing, and social media marketing. And his passion lies in helping businesses of all sizes, from one-person small businesses to franchises and enterprises, to increase their revenue through digital marketing. He's generated millions, with an M, millions, maybe billions by now, of dollars of revenue for his clients. And he currently owns multiple digital marketing agencies, as well as a startup software company that is innovating and revolutionizing the industry of digital marketing. Jeremy is an important contributor to this series, and he's going to tell you what you're going to see next week when you log on to our Zoom. Because you signed up for part 1, you will automatically be signed up for parts 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yes, 5. Jeremy will tell you about that too. Go ahead, Jeremy, take it away.
Thank you so much, Diane. And welcome everybody. This is a sneak peek into what's in store for next week. We are going to be learning how to take what we just learned today, developing the USP, going through the SWOT analysis, and actually turning that into an effective digital marketing strategy. Next week, we're going to be talking about SEO and search engine optimization, and how to implement what we just learned today into a proper and successful SEO campaign. And then on November 18th, we're also going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a live training session at 5:30 p.m. on the 18th, where I'm actually going to go through and show exactly how to create a revenue generating Google Ads campaign. We're focusing on the e-commerce market because, right now we're in the holiday season. This is really where a lot of e-commerce businesses make a bunch of their sales. I personally own an e-commerce business on the side where 80% of our sales comes in during the holiday season. And so I'm going to show you exactly what I do to generate millions of dollars in revenue just from Google Ads. So Jack, if you'll go to the next slide for me.
Jeremy, when is this going to take place on the 18th?
At 5:30 p.m. It's going to be a Zoom webinar. And I have the schedule at the end of my
Got it.
My preview.
Okay.
So next week, like I said, we're going to be talking about SEO. We're going to go over what it is, why you need it, some common misconceptions about it, because I know with a bunch of my own clients, when they come to us asking for an SEO campaign, there's a lot of expectations that they have that are kind of unrealistic because they don't understand the full scope of SEO and exactly what it takes in order to rank your website inside of Google organically. And then I'm going to go through the entire process that I use for all of my clients. This is a process that I've created over 10 years. So it's time tested, proven. We always get great results with this. And so, we go through proper website design because that is the foundation of an SEO campaign. The last thing you want to do is, push a bunch of traffic to a website that nobody enjoys using. So we kind of go over really quickly some best practices and how to get your website ready for some marketing campaigns. Then we go into competitor research, keyword research, creating a website sitemap, which basically is just you planning out your SEO campaign. And then we look at how to do the technical SEO, on-page SEO, authority building, and then we look over how to analyze the results and make any edits to the campaign as you go. So What is SEO? Well, search engine optimization is the process of nourishing and growing your website so that it ranks highly in search engines. And the ultimate goal of an SEO campaign is to rank #1 for keywords related to your business. And this will help generate what we consider free traffic to your website, increasing leads and in turn, new customers. Thank you. So this, when your website is properly optimized for a keyword, it's going to start showing up in ranking in what we call the SERPs. And that's just a fancy acronym for search engine results page. It's what shows up after you type something into Google. And even with the ads above that, and sometimes if you're looking for a local business, you'll have the map that shows up. We call that the local map pack. Even though you've got all this stuff that still shows up, 70% of users skip over that and go directly to the organic results because they know that, hey, those are organic. Those have been earned. Like, you can't pay for that. You can't pay Google to rank your website organically to the #1 spot. That all comes down to a proper SEO campaign. So why do you need it? Well, SEO makes up over 50% of all website traffic nowadays. And this is what we call organic traffic. So if you've ever looked at Google Analytics for your website and you see the pie chart of where all of your traffic comes from, organic traffic is usually going to be the biggest chunk of that pie. And that it all comes down to proper optimizations on your website. Unlike an advertising campaign where the traffic stops as soon as you reach your budget cap or you pause the ad campaign, the only limitation to the amount of traffic SEO can generate to your website comes down to how well it's performing in the search engines. So the better your SEO campaign is, the more keywords you start to organically rank for, the more often your website's going to show up. And then once your website starts to rank higher and higher, the more traffic you're going to start to generate to your website. And like I said, this is, Diane said earlier, it's now a 5-part marketing webinar series. So again, November 17th, next week at 12 p.m. noon, I'm going to be going through that whole SEO process with you guys. And then the next day on Thursday, November 18th at 5:30 p.m., like I said, we're doing a live Google Ads for e-commerce webinar. Again, where I'm going to do it live. I'm going to create a campaign. I'm going to show you the statistics of a current campaign that I've got going so that you guys can actually implement a Google Ads campaign for yourselves that generates some good revenue. And we decided to put this in as soon as possible. We didn't want to wait because, again, it is geared more towards selling products on Google Ads. But this goes for any type of business. If if you sell services, you can also use this as a great way to create ads for your services. And then we're going to be taking a break during the Thanksgiving week, so we're not going to have any webinars for the marketing series. And then we're going to be returning December 1st at noon. Jack is going to talk about how to identify your potential customers. So we're going to, a lot of businesses focus so much on what they're trying to sell that sometimes they forget to focus on who they're going to sell it to. So Jack is going to go through and teach you how to actually hone in on your target audience. And then on the second half of that, I'm actually going to show you how to use that and target those people inside of Facebook ads. And then for the last webinar in the series on December 8th, again at noon, I'm going to be presenting all of the different effective digital marketing channels. So this is kind of more of a generalized presentation. I kind of go over SEO very briefly again. We talk about Google Ads, Facebook ads, social media marketing, email marketing, and I think a couple other things. So make sure that you've got your calendars marked for all of these. Again, this is a series, so it kind of builds on itself week over week. And again, if you're registered for these, you will get an email with the slides after the presentation. You will also get an email with a link to the recorded video. So with that, I will hand it back over to Diane.
Thanks, Jeremy. I'd like to thank both Jeremy and Jack. You did a great job, a great start on this series. And I think that we'll see a build of attendees because it was such a well done series so far. I'd also like all of our participants to visit our Manasota SCORE website. We have so many resources available. You may not know about marketing, but you may be strong in other areas. You might like to go to our website and volunteer to give back. Or if you're looking for a mentor, you can apply for a mentor there. It really is important that you not do this alone. You know, it's so much easier when you have somebody with you. You can check out our other workshops or meetups. You can look at our podcasts and business scorecard articles and look for our templates and tools and more on our online resource library. So go to our manasota.score.org website and check it out. Jack, could you click a couple of times, I think? Keep clicking. There you go. All right. You're also going to be getting an evaluation for this workshop and webinar. If you could fill it in, it would really be helpful. We would like to hear from you. We'd like to hear what you liked about it and what we could improve, because we're always trying to do that. Click one more time, Jack. And yes, visit Strategizer and look at the business model canvas there. It will help you prepare for the next webinars. Check out canvasser.org. Begin to draft your BMC, your business model canvas, in preparation for your first mentoring meeting. I hope you're thinking about applying for a mentor because it's free, and why not? And lastly, set up a meeting with your SCORE mentor. Click, Jack. One more. There you go. So complete the survey. Part of that survey is also what other topics are you interested in? We'd really be interested in knowing that. And it also asks who may benefit from our programs and seeking volunteer opportunities. So I think we're up to our Q&A. And I've been monitoring our Q&A. Anonymous would like website information for Jack's company and also Jeremy's company. I don't believe that Jack actually has a website. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Jack. Do you?
No, that's correct, Diane. I'm retired, and but is that an effort to try to reach out for some sort of follow-up communications?
You know, that's as much as I know. Anonymous said website for Jack's company, please, and then followed up with "and Jeremy."
Okay, and so you could handle any inquiries as to how to develop how to get contact information to attendees?
Yeah, actually, our website, our SCORE email addresses are pretty easy. It's our first name dot last name at scorevolunteer.org. So that would be a way of contacting you. There is one question from T. Lamb. Can you please talk a little more on the finer differences between interest and desire, i.e., can interest be mistaken for desire in the degree of engagement and questioning?
The way I learned that process was interest is basically a confirmation that the seller exists and that there is something relevant. You know, oh, you're in the pet care business. I have a pet. I mean, it's the interest is defined more as a connected interest. Desire is now I want to learn more so that I might buy from you. Now I'm getting ready to buy, but so that is the evolution of interest into desire is the emotional. It really is an emotional difference between knowing about you and wanting to do business with you. But as an old boss of mine used to say, it's a long way from the cup to the lip. And so just because somebody wants to buy, just because somebody has the desire, you gotta pull them in with action. And so You know, I might have I really would desire a Maserati convertible, preferably in candy apple red. But the idea that action, I'm probably not going to act on that and remain married. So I think there is a big difference in these steps. But the one you identified, interest to desire, is really critical to getting the person past interested and into, I want to do some business. I just don't know when and how I'm going to do it.
Great. We have someone, Dane, is offering Jeremy, if you'd like a web page to play with and improve, I'm more than happy to let you use mine.
Nice work, Dane.
Yeah, nice work, Dane. Uh-huh.
You
What are you
rascal.
looking for? A little free advice on this?
Oh, really? You think? Join SCORE
Join SCORE and we'll
and you'll get that information.
Yeah, we'll probably bring Jeremy in as a specialist, as a co-mentor, and see if he can work directly with you. But nice try. I think probably Jeremy has enough to work with, and you should answer that, Jeremy. I don't mean to speak for you.
Yeah, I mean, you can feel free to reach out to me. I always offer free consultations, free digital marketing consultations to all SCORE members and SCORE clients. So, you know, if you work with a mentor, you can have them reach out to me, and I can jump in on on one of your meetings and kind of go through any questions you may have. What I'll do too is I'll just send you my SCORE email. So if you want, you can just, you know, send me an email and we can I can answer any questions you might have.
Great. Well, that's all the questions we have, gentlemen. You did a fabulous job, and look at that, it's 12:58. Our goal was 1 o'clock. I think we made it.
Yep.
I look forward to doing this again with you next week and hearing Jeremy's point of view on this whole search engine optimization. I am actually looking very much forward to it so that I can take the information that he shares and share it with my clients, my SCORE clients. So thank you all very much. Thank you, participants, for coming. Without you, we'd be nothing. So we appreciate your coming. Bye-bye.